Hello and welcome to Roll For It. This is an interesting video. It's a character creation charge and summary video for Just Around the Corner, which is a World of Darkness thing. I've never played World of Darkness before, so I'm just going to hand it straight over to Mavs because he knows what he's talking about, unlike me.
Sure. I think that's true for all of you, right? None of you have truly really played World of Darkness, and I think
Great!
I think Barbernaut, you're familiar a little bit with it. I think we talked, and that's it. But basically, the World of Darkness, for those who are uninitiated to it, is one of my favorite worlds in tabletop RPGs. It takes place, for the most part, in modern day, and it is a modern day world filled with all the creatures in the night. So you've got vampires, werewolves, mages, and a vast array of other supernatural creatures that live amongst the mortals. But they all do everything in their power to make sure that they are not seen by the mortals. And there are penalties and punishments that go along with making themselves known to mortals, depending on what specific creature you are talking about. But specifically for this campaign, I wanted to run a more mortal-themed campaign. So the 4 players here are going to be playing as mortals, and there's going to be something supernatural that happens that wraps them into this world of darkness, if you will. And they're going to be, over the course of X number of sessions, trying to discover what that is, why it's important to their characters specifically, and whatever choices they end up making along the way in the end will dictate the fate of their characters. World of Darkness is horror themed almost through and through. No matter what rule system you end up picking up, it is never a pleasant thing to be wrapped up in this world, but it's always interesting and mysterious no matter what you are, even for the mortals who will get wrapped up in it. And so we're going to go around, we're going to talk about the mortal characters and maybe clarify some rules and just kind of babble about World of Darkness in general, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding of it by the end. Want to hand it to EE to open up with his particular character?
Oh god. So I'm going to be playing Saren Johansson, who often goes by the name of Mia Starr because she is an ex-pop star, like basically somewhere between Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus, in that she used to be a pop star aimed at like teenagers, burned out, stopped being a pop star, and now gets recognized occasionally. She mostly just lives in a small town, in a little tour bus that no longer used anymore. Still has like all the livery for her last tour on the side. Mostly spends her time living off the royalties every time they like do a cover of her song, and spends a lot of her time going to bars and stuff. She has a muscle car that she just drives around everywhere, and after a bad relationship with a roadie, she has a good friend who she keeps in the trunk, who she finds a much more useful deterrent than a restraining order.
You want to leave it at that?
I'm just going to leave it at that. It's going to be interesting when that comes out. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know what I'm going to do for the accent quite yet. I'm debating trying a southern, but my southern accent's pretty terrible. It's pretty bad.
That would make it all the more wonderful.
Yeah, just use an excuse. Like, maybe she's just putting it on. Like, she's a pop star / actress. I imagine she appeared in, like, one film that was terrible and she couldn't act or something. Like, every good pop star has to do at least one point in their lives.
So you're like those Disney actors that try to become musicians and they are successful for a while but never adapt into adulthood afterward.
Basically. Like, at some point, she maybe discovered cocaine and then maybe they went downhill from there. You know, I haven't decided exactly what her backstory is, but it's probably going to be some sort of very tragic, like, backstory like that. Like, it all went very downhill as she tried to appeal to a more mature audience. And
I feel like you're going to shave your head at some point.
I'm
all
tempted.
great crazy pop stars shave their heads at some point.
I am very tempted. I have got, like, a red wig I was planning on using. I was like, wait, if I use a red wig, can't really shave that, so... So then I bought a cowboy hat that I can wear instead. So technically I could pull that off. But I think that's a good summary of my character so far. Are our vices and virtues important at this stage, or should they be kept off the table so people don't know exactly?
I mean, virtues and vices you can talk about if you'd like. I'll leave that up to you. It's not something that's going to be hugely imperative, at the very least, just letting people know about them.
Okay.
So.
Well, I went for gluttony as my vice because I really felt it important that she goes to the bar and gets a bottle of whiskey every night. Because I think that the art we got done, I made sure I put, like, she has a bottle of whiskey in one hand. She definitely needs that.
Perfect.
I think this is going to go terribly, terribly wrong. I'm going to hand over now. Bub, do you want to talk about Darian?
Yeah. I guess for these extensive sessions, I'm going to be playing a character by the name of Darian Tuck. Darian is an aspiring voice actor and writer, novelist. I've just moved to this new town to break my current flow of writer's block, finding any kind of new motivation. I have hit some slew of success, but I tend to be fairly frugal in my own personal endeavors. That being said, anything that could propel me into the next chapter of my book or the next location in my voice acting career, I'm not afraid to fund it. I am not much of a fighter. I prefer to lean on, being very charismatic by nature. People find it difficult to say no to me, and I'm naturally flirty, kind of coy. I'm not really sure what else to say much else about the character.
I'm curious because it will affect it. I'm curious how recently you moved into the town you currently live.
I'm
Over a year ago, less than a year ago.
a week.
All right. I like it.
Brand new resident. Haven't met anyone yet.
That is a great way to get to know other characters, though, because it's just like, hi, I'm new here. So that's just a great way to get into it.
It's sort of like people know my name, but they can't quite pinpoint what that's from yet. When they find out what my novel is about, then they might realize, or perhaps the movies that I've been working with.
Do you have fame?
I do have fame.
What level of fame do you have?
3.
Oh, are we all kind of famous? Ida Mabel's also kind of famous.
I don't know, maybe
Famous around town.
Famous?
Yeah, she's got local fame. She's
Every
very
cat knows her.
locally.
Yeah, she's a local lady. That's brilliant. I love it.
Oh,
Fantastic.
I guess that's a good point to hand over.
Oh no.
Ida?
Oh, yeah.
Ida.
So Ida is famous. She's famous for being the town's crazy cat lady. She's an 80-year-old woman who has moved to this town after kind of tracking down what she believes to be the trail of the paranormal. She lives a little on edge by herself in kind of a hoarder house. She wears what might have been considered 50 years ago as like her Sunday best, but now is like worn and faded, and buttons are missing from her plaid dress, and she covers it all with a trench coat. She wears a wig inside out because that's the only way to keep it clean when you're hunting the paranormal. And yeah, she's off a rocker, people. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. She witnessed something she shouldn't have many years ago. And
I'm still stuck on she wears the wig inside out.
Inside out, yeah.
Because it helps it keep it clean.
yeah, she always has her trusty handbag and a cigarette in the other hand. Her weapons of choice are holy water, stakes, sage, the kind of usual bare minimum kitchen occult findings. Yeah, she has lots of cats, and she used to be a preacher's wife. And like I said, she witnessed something she shouldn't have, and she kind of lost it, and they tossed her in the loony bin. And she underwent many years of shock therapy. They took her eye. She's eyeless. I do have an eye patch that will be worn. That will be worn for the stream. I refuse to put it on for this one, but just look, it's here. It will be worn. Yeah. So she is, in fact, on a mission to try to prove both to herself and to the world that she is not crazy, that there is bad stuff out there, and she is bound and determined to find proof.
Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing how long that eye patch lasts, because the last time I tried to do like an eye patch of my cosplay on the stream, I was like, it's getting very difficult to focus on the stream and do all the tech. Like, I've got one eye that's getting very tired.
Well, the big problem is I wear glasses and I'm out of contact, so I may have to eye patch it and wear glasses, which I still feel like is something Ida Mabel
that feels very
do.
on brand.
She would wear her eye patch and her glasses, so
Would she wear an eye patch under the glasses or over the glasses, or maybe two?
I debated that. I feel like it's probably under. Practical says it would be
more
under.
practical, yeah. So, speaking of practical, Miss Magitech, you're playing Kara Harper.
Yes, Kara Harper. So she, very similar to Darian, actually, is also new to this town. So she is, she's young. Maybe if you guys saw her, she would look like she's in her mid-20s, maybe 25, 26. Long, dirty blonde hair that she ties back. She's a music teacher, so she kind of just looks like a teacher in some ways, kind of business casual, and you see what she's wearing. And she is teaching at the local high school where everything's going down, the local suburban high school in our town. So she actually decided to settle for this teaching job, though it wouldn't exactly be her dream job. She went to performing arts school, a kind of upper performing arts school. And then after she graduated, went through several auditions and just didn't make the cut in any of her auditions. So eventually she found this job listing for her teaching job, and decided to settle for that. So it's not exactly what she wants to do right now in her life, but she's an extremely optimistic person. She's hoping that one day she still will receive her big break in her career, but we'll see where it goes from there. She's just very, very, she has high spirits and is very cheerful as well.
I get the feeling that being cheerful won't last long in this campaign when Matt's in charge.
We'll see how that goes. Yes.
It's a losing battle.
Quite the motley crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more interesting group of characters I've ever heard of in an RPG. So I guess we've got a few more minutes. I was just how famous is everyone? Has everyone here actually got the fame quality?
I would say my character, not so much. She wants to think she'll be famous one day, but no,
Okay,
she's
so
not.
you want to have the fame quality, okay.
Yes.
Ida, do you actually have the fame quality, or are you just famous for cats?
What did I choose? No, I feel like famous for cats. Yes, and no, I have a specialization in house cats.
I just famous all up here.
I really hope that
Yeah.
comes in useful. I hope that comes in useful.
Yeah, but I am, I have I have good things like danger sense and holistic awareness, so that might come in handy. Who knows?
Okay.
But no, I actually took faith and greed. My virtue and my vice are faith. My virtue being, of course, faith, being the preacher's wife. My vice being greed because she's a hoarder. She keeps everything. She keeps everything.
Perfect.
Everything. I mean, we discussed this in the Discord, but just for people watching, how many cats, roughly speaking, at any one time?
About 25, I think was what, at least in Ida's mind. I actually
That's your
debated that
bonus.
she would have a cat on her at all times.
So my cat is actually very talkative, and I was worried that we might hear her during the stream, but I think that'll go with
Adds a
with
little
Ida. That'll be Ida's
It'll
cat.
Did you hear that?
Wait. I have the perfect thing right now.
Oh man, yeah, so he has one. Oh no.
Oh,
Hell
perfect.
yeah.
So we all have cats, basically.
This is yeah. I'm not sure how any of our skills are going to be useful in, fighting the darkness.
Yeah.
I'm excited to
not.
see.
I mean, I also got fame, but I'm feeling a little bit sad now because I've only got fame 2, so I'm already outdone by Darian.
Well, your prime is long gone. He's
Don't
still
tell her
working.
that.
No, it makes sense. she was like maybe a fame 3 or 4 like 10 years ago. That's dwindled ever since
She's
she went.
still
and
got
hid in
it.
the
She can
small
get it
town.
back.
I
I'm
feel
sure
like
she does.
she's the one that like wakes up in the morning and goes to Instagram and like sets everything up and then uses like hashtag woke up like this. Like she's the one that like yeah, is still trying to make it.
I imagine she's like the person whose agent now tells her in the morning, by the way, you need to make an Instagram picture. And she's like, fine. And she takes like an awful Instagram picture. But she still has resources for, so I'm happy about that.
She banked well. She banked.
Okay.
I really tried to make Resources 5 work, but I couldn't afford the XP.
Well, I have
All the
5.
time.
I took 5 in a cult. I'm maxed out. I
Yeah.
did. I chose to max it out. It also means that I'm like, I can't kill or hurt anything.
Hi,
Well,
I'll help.
actually, on that, and maybe something to clarify for those that are not particularly familiar with World of Darkness out there. World of Darkness as a system is very story driven. It is very RPG story heavy, and when combat does happen in World of Darkness, it's fast, furious, and lethal. It's not like your other tabletop games like D&D, where combat can take 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on the encounter. In World of Darkness, if there's combat, if it's not done in 30 minutes, then there is something horrendous happening to you that you are still happening. Combat is still happening. Guns are lethal, and a gun can put you out in 2 shots. So combat is not something you are likely to encounter often, and when you do, it should be something that shocks the system.
Cool.
So there you
Man.
go.
I'm scared.
Okay, well, the good news is Ida will she'll not fight anything, I don't think.
She
But
just set the cats
I
on
could-
them.
I was about to say, can I? Yeah,
Yeah.
gonna have to learn to. Or she'll be like, go
Got 'em.
get them, and they're like,
There's the specialism in cats
No.
coming in handy.
yeah. Always have a cat ready.
I feel like Mia is going to be our hard ass, the one that's going to be doing all the fighting. She's got all this pent up rage and
Yeah.
for everything.
Oh.
Failure is a good way to get angry. So
Right.
Man, dun dun dun.
Oh god. Well, we're gonna go and do some practice session stuff and learn how the game is gonna function and how we're all gonna go horribly, horribly wrong. But thank you very much for watching our little character creation summary video. Hopefully you're really hyped for what's about to unfold. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing us to pay cast wages and stuff through Patreon. So thank you very much to everyone, and we'll catch you this Saturday. This is gonna be interesting. Bye.
bye.